Good evening, folks. We're waiting for the board of directors to come out of closed session right now. We will update you when we have a projected timeline. Good evening, folks. We have the board of directors still in closed session. We'll be sure to update you when we have a projected timeline. Test one.
Test one. Albert, test one. Test.
Test one.
Very loud. Very loud. Hello? Hello?
Thursday, September 3rd, it is approximately 7:50 in the PM. This meeting is called to order. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Dr. Young.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, now with the opening prayer, unfortunately, I want to apologize this evening to Pastor David Gomez. We ran over in our closed session, and so unfortunately, due to other prearranged commitments, he was unable to be along with us, but we want to thank Pastor Gomez because he has been with us on many occasions, and I know he is still praying for us and wishing us the best. And I thank him for even taking out his time to be with us. With that being said, lead us in prayer. Dr. Young, you want to lead us in prayer?
lead us into healing our nation. We pray this in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. All right, next up is the roll call of the board members.
Director Dr. Michael Taylor,
Present.
Director Greg Young,
Here.
Director Dr. Clifford Young,
Here.
Vice President Kyle Crowther,
Here.
and President Jenny Hopkins.
Here. All right, next up is to adopt the agenda.
I'll move the agenda.
All right. Second. All right, moved and second. No further discussion. Call for the vote. Secretary Ashton.
Director Dr. Michael Taylor,
I'd like to make a friendly amendment.
Director Dr. Michael Taylor,
Dr. Taylor was, just requested to make a friendly amendment. Dr. Taylor, you're a little distant in the sound.
I don't know why I'm having problems with this microphone. How about now? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can make it out. We can make it out.
I'd like to make a friendly amendment, if you can hear this.
Yes,
Okay. That on the presentations for the reform plan, that we move that to another meeting and have it come back.
yeah, we're not gonna have that at this meeting.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, it's gonna be,
Then I'll vote yes on the agenda.
it's gonna be continued to a subsequent meeting. Not ready for this evening. Yeah,
okay, Director Dr. Michael Taylor,
Yes.
Director Greg Young,
Yes.
Director Dr. Clifford Young,
Yes.
Vice President Kyle Crowther,
Yes.
and President Jenny Hopkins.
yeah. I don't know, maybe it's the speaker. You guys gotta turn it up or something.
Got it on maximum. If you like, we can go back to the speakerphone. We've got some smaller speakers on order so that you can circle around. We'll go back.
Okay, because it is more difficult to hear from you. Technology. Well, hopefully we save enough money at some point in the future, we can actually get
I do like
the proper upgrade.
Today, it seems like it's half the time they're like, I don't know how to unmute myself. Everybody's struggling right now.
Sean, I'm gonna switch to phone audio. I'm gonna give you a participant ID number, okay?
Enter your meeting ID followed by pound.
All right, great. So. I'm now going on. It's on. All right, there you go. Great, thank you. All right, so did we ever go on the agenda? We did?
You adopt the agenda.
Oh, we adopted the agenda. Public participation?
Under the state of California Brown Act, the Board of Directors is prohibited from discussing or taking action on any item not listed on the posted agenda. Comments related to notice of public hearings and business matters will be heard during the occurrence of the item. In an effort to prevent the spread of COVID-19 and in accordance with the governor's executive order in 2920 and the order of the county standard being notated March 17, 2020, there will be no public location for attending this board meeting in person. Members of the public may listen and provide public comment via telephone by calling the following number and access code, 888-475-4499. Access code is 807-977-6383. You may join the meeting by using Zoom. Public comment may also be submitted via email to the Public Affairs Manager, Ms. Peruzzi, at nfarooqi@www.org. Also, the webinar will be available on the public viewing by visiting the district's website.
Good evening, President Hawkins, members of the board. We do have a public comment that was submitted by Harvey Brown, Black Voice News, September 3rd, 2020. Good evening, board members, San Bernardino County, Riverside County supervisors, and several Inland Empire cities, including Montana, have officially declared racism to be a public health crisis. Leaking institutionalized systemic racial discrimination and vehicle racism resides in public policy. I say the same is true for water boards and corporate America companies. That leads me to comment on your continuing performance evaluation of the general manager, African American, and your legal counsel, a Mexican American. Why is it taking so long to complete? Is it because of their race? I don't know. So I'm asking the questions that maybe the general manager or legal counsel cannot ask. If you completed it tonight in closed session, then forgive me for bringing this up to your
Okay. All right. Next.
One of the things Mr. Griggs and I were working on before the past was comparing the cost now of employees being forced from the district and comparing it with the cost of employees forced out in 2017. I compiled a rough estimate of costs without adding the legal costs and employee replacement costs. An example of employee replacement cost is the temporary HR manager hired at $5,000 per week. In 2017, you forced out Marie Ritchie, Chief Financial Officer, for $67,000 plus 5 months paid of paid leave. Sinead Smith, Board Secretary, for $83,000 plus 5 months of paid leave. Matthew Litchfield, General Manager, settled for $99,999.99 plus. Now in 2020, you forced out Jeremiah Brzezowski for $178,775.21. Deborah Martinez for $164,164.92. Crystal Escalero between $49,000 to $60,000 plus. I have not located the settlement cost for Karen Loeb, but will continue searching the records. You as a board should request of legal counsel to report out to the public a full and detailed cost of your decisions to remove these employees at the expense of ratepayers. I'm confident that what you did in 2017 is no different from 2020 when it comes to ratepayers' money spent, people hurt, and employment image of the community from these. We are still waiting to hear what you are going to do about the community's request to name the hydro plant in honor of Mr. Griggs. Thank you for your time, and please stay safe. And
Next comment, please.
that concludes, that's all the comment I received. However, those that are listening, and if you are a member of the public, or if you have any public comment unrelated to matters on the agenda, please, this is the time to speak. Please go ahead and mute yourself. We'll give you 2 seconds.
Is the time on, Mr. Ferrucci? 3 minutes.
If anyone does have a public comment, now is the time to speak. Please go ahead and unmute yourselves, or raise your hand virtually, and we'll go ahead and unmute you. Mr. President, that concludes public comment.
All right, thank you very much. Moving on. The first thing, I do want to make a quick statement before we get into the presentation. First, thank you all for taking the time to tune into tonight's meeting. First and foremost, I'd like to thank our West Valley manager for drafting and putting forward initiatives for a reform plan to improve transparency, accountability, and sustainability at West Valley Water District. Thank you for working on this plan. Your hard work and months-long dedication to it will not go unnoticed. Tonight, we are postponing the introduction of a reform plan. I've heard from the board vice president and my colleagues, and many of you expressed several good ideas to make a comprehensive reform plan for the district, and I hear you. I'm ready to work with all of my colleagues to make it happen. Let's move forward as a tested team, a better board, and an optimistic organization that enact change for our ratepayers. The state controller's office report is a part of our past, and we need to move forward as one to enact reforms to eliminate that blemish. Please take the next few weeks during the board meetings, and hopefully, at the behest of Director Grace Young, we look forward to setting a workshop where we all can work together and collaborate over the course of the next month and be able to come up with some reforms together and be able to move forward as one collective body, improving our agency for everyone. However, tonight, we are passing several reforms that are manifest from what the employees have recommended and have gone through the proper and appropriate committee. A new purchasing policy, credit card policy, and records retention policy. These few reforms are a good start, but we need to keep going in order to put the state controller's office report behind us. In addition, at our last board meeting, the Special District Leadership Foundation formally presented the District Transparency of Distinction Certificate. Our efforts will only continue to grow from here. Since we had the opportunity to participate in the Special District Leadership Foundation's governance training, I would like to thank Vice President Kyle Crowther, Director Michael Taylor, and 14 other water district managers for participating, coming in on a Saturday. And our managers don't get overtime, coming in on a Saturday and participating in the governance training. We learned a lot during that training. I think we melded as a team. We took some very constructive feedback as well as some warranted ways to improve. That's what I'll say. And so we look forward, and so it was a great start. We have, at this point, we are limited to a lower accreditation since we didn't have all of our board members there. We only had 3, and in order for us to get the highest level of distinction, we need all of the board members to participate at some time within the next few months. To my colleagues, I ask that you join me in our commitment to becoming the organization our ratepayers deserve. Our ratepayers deserve a cohesive board committed to increasing transparency and accountability. With that being said, let's get ready to roll with the West Valley with an update on our response to the State Controller Office audit.
Before we get started, do we have a written report in our package or not?
I believe you have the PowerPoint slides. No, sorry, it was emailed, but I can make copies of it for you.
But the content of what he is actually putting forward is in your packet. So the purchasing policy.
And the question.
Yes.
Yes.
If that makes sense, the actual what he's
Well,
talking
the
about.
policies, I understand.
Yes, okay.
Policies are included, in your packet.
And this is just for presentation.
Yeah, this is just a presentation. Good evening, board members, staff, public. Ricky Mandahal, Chief Financial Officer for West Valley Water District. Tonight, at the board's request, I am going to present a summarized version of the response that we did to the State Controller's audit. As you may be aware of, the district was audited by the State Controller's Office, and their audit was concluded sometime late last year. final report was issued earlier in this year, and we received an official notification of their recommendation that was identified during the audit. At that point, we crafted a response to the audit in compliance with their recommendation, and we submitted it to the State Controller's Office, and the board requested to get an official presentation on that response. So tonight, I'm here to present the board with the responses that was presented to the State Controller's Office. So, on the little paragraph on top is what I just read. The steps that was taken so far to fully comply with the recommendations. We hired human resources is currently managing all of the personnel-related matters. It's removed from the administrator's office. The employees are currently completing and providing receipts and supporting documents for business reimbursements to the CFO for approval. Purchasing activities, including credit card purchases, are currently managed by the CFO. That was also removed from the administration office. And solicitation of bids, professional services contracts are currently in place and are being presented to the board of directors for consideration before they're being awarded. Recruitments are currently being conducted by independent recruitment firms for executive level positions. And I'll pause there for a second. In your package tonight, there is a recommendation for a recruitment firm for our HR manager, and that's a good example of the reforms that we're putting in place to begin our compliance. Each board member completed required ethics training, and the accounting manual is currently in a draft format to be presented to the board of directors for consideration. So that's a huge step. These are all huge steps that we've taken to address the recommendations by the State Controller's Office. It's not taken lightly, and I will remind the board when we had the discussion with the Special District Leadership Foundation, President Hawkins was present, and I showed them the draft accounting manual policies, and I think a comment was like, wow. So we're making a great effort to satisfy the recommendations. Next page. To the left are all of the policies that are included in the accounting manual. Actually, to the right are the policies that are currently being presented to the board, the purchase and procurement, which is the purchasing policy, and the purchase card policy. Both of those policies were presented to Finance Committee and I believe External Affairs Committee. They were reviewed, edited, and now they are ready for the board to take action on. Policies that are currently being reviewed by committee is the accounts payable and the travel and training policies. And once those are completed, then we'll do the same thing. We'll bring it to the board for consideration. It's highly unlikely to bring this entire packet of policies to the board all at once, because I don't think we're going to get a real complete review and feedback and ensure that these policies are written to satisfy the district's needs. So I think it's best to bring it two policies at a time and take our time and go through it. Our goal is to fully comply with all recommendations by the SCO and present all the policies to the board for consideration by December 31st, 2020. And with that, I am open for any questions. I'm a little creative in this life, but not too creative.
Well, yeah, but you're doing a good job as CFO. I don't know so much about public affairs. All right, Greg, looks like you got a question.
I do, but I was planning on pulling the item to talk about, but can you speak to, specific matters within the policies that are on for tonight, or would you rather me wait till later? Because I know that's supposed to be like the presentation, but.
Yeah, let's feel it, if I can, I will, if not, I'll say I'll divert.
Okay, I mean, I read through them, the only one which I had a kind of a question on, I don't know if you have it in front of you, but the, purchasing policy specifically, on page 52 of 65 within that, which is in packet page 123. Let you kind of catch up to me.
123.
Yeah,
I got it.
it's page 123 in the packet, but it's page 52 in the actual.
In the actual power document.
I follow.
Mm-hmm.
Two different sections.
A lot of, yeah, two different sets of numbers to get to one place.
Yeah. And first of all, thank you, Chrissy, for all your hard work. I really do appreciate it. So, like I said, I just had one small area of concern. I'm really having concern just as much as I'm not sure if we're going far enough.
Okay.
Okay.
So specifically, there's a section there which talks about cumulative change orders.
Yes.
And how basically if you change a couple, tie a couple change orders together, you can't do that basically, that you're exceeding the general manager's authority.
Exactly.
But what I want to really kind of be clear about and ask you a question, I don't see anywhere in here where it talks about contracts. Because part of the issues identified was where we had, and the state specifically called out a couple instances where one contractor got multiple contracts for more or less doing similar work, but each one was somewhat different. But yet the cumulative result was that they got almost close to $100,000 without ever actually having a vote of the board.
Okay.
So my concern is I don't see anywhere in this document where we go that far as contracts of similar type.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And I think I addressed that in the same area, cumulative change orders, because
My concern is that change orders and contracts.
Mr. CFO, is there a possibility to add the word contracts in there? So
Yeah, I can
Okay.
add a couple of lines that specifically talk about contracts.
Okay. Thank you. That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, because
Okay.
like I said, I was very happy to see the change order part, but I just know that there's a difference between change order and a whole separate contract, but yet you're still trying to do the same thing.
Okay, got it, yeah.
All right.
I can do that.
Okay, thank you. Sure.
All right. Kyle and Mike, any questions about the presentation or the policy changes?
Oh, none at all.
No, sounds good. No, thanks for all your hard work.
Well, yeah, so I just want to say, I want to thank the CFO for the job that he's doing and putting together the policies that are reforming the district. Also want to thank the members of the Finance Committee, because that's right, the members of the Finance Committee, the two doctors, Dr. Taylor, and particularly Dr. Taylor and Dr. Young, for doing the unanimous work on this, on these policies, and making sure that we take action. That cannot be stated enough. I think, as much as what's put out there, this kind of work product really comes from a team effort, and seeing the two, Dr. Young and Dr. Taylor, working together to put something together like this, has really moved our agency forward. It's a great, positive thing. I want to thank Greg and Kyle also, because they're doing tremendous work out of their committee. All of a sudden, there's all this stuff going on with the technology and engineering, all kinds of work coming out of there too. And so I just want to take the time. I know we sometimes come in here and we're so focused on business that it's not said enough. There's a lot of productive work going on right now, and my colleagues are leading the effort, and I'm just glad to be a part of the team with you guys.
I appreciate them, Mr. President, but the technology committee is Mike and Kyle.
No, Mike, no, I'm sorry, well, the engineering committee.
Yeah, but you said technology.
I apologize, let me be clear, I want to be distinct, the technology committee and the engineering committee. Let me be clear, I don't want to not give anybody their due credit.
Mr. President, thank you. I move the consent calendar.
Let's move the consent calendar.
Committee has amended for the one that we talked about,
Is that okay, with the amended,
that Ricky said he would fix.
You said that?
It's fixed.
No, he needs to fix it.
He needs to fix it.
Okay.
Further, as amended.
Okay.
That's your motion, Dr. Young, as amended?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, Dr. Taylor, I heard you speaking.
I did, I seconded it.
A second, all right, we got a second, all right, let's call for the vote.
Okay, Director Dr. Michael Taylor,
Yes.
Director Greg Young,
Yes.
Director Dr. Clifford Young,
Yes.
Vice President Kyle Potter,
Yes.
and President Sandy Hopkins.
Yes, okay, all right, then we have, business matters, all right, we're moving along, all right. Presentation, report, board members.
Real quick, Mr. President, I just wanted to, mark a couple, items. One, as some people know, a former, board president, Betty Gosney's husband had passed away, a little while ago, and we all expressed our condolences to Betty, and I just wanted to note that, she's actually moved, to be closer to her family, and that certainly in the community of Bloomington where I'm at, that's a great loss, and so we wish her well on the next phase of her life's journey with her, and she'll continue to be our thoughts and prayers. And then also, I wanted to mark a really kind of a very sad occasion, unfortunately, that a longtime member of Bloomington, Sharon Lewis, wife of Ron Lewis, who used to be one of the pastors at the Bridge Church of the Nazarene, unfortunately passed away the other day. Fairly young and very unexpected. They had moved back to Arkansas to be closer to their grandkids a few years ago, but they've been a lifelong resident of Bloomington for most of their lives. So I would ask that we can adjourn the meeting in Sharon Lewis' honor. And just, my thoughts and prayers are with Ron. He was one of the associate pastors there at the church all the time I grew up there, and in the Christian school there, Bloomington Christian. And, he was a coach, he was a teacher, he did it all. And Sharon was always involved right alongside with him there at the church, so it was a really sad shock to get the news this past week. So if there's no objections, I would ask that we could adjourn the meeting in her honor. So thank you.
Okay, any other comments on board members? All right, the only thing I want to say is I want to thank all of the members of the board and our staff again for the hard work that we're doing. When something is going on and it isn't the most positive, it's talked about a whole bunch. But when you're doing positive things and you're taking constructive action and you're actually being responsible with your dollars, the administration of the district, and how you're handling things. And I want to say that, from kind of, I guess, the midway checkpoint, in such a short amount of time, we've come a long way. And that's because, all of the members of the board, as well as the management team and employees here are putting in the effort. I also want to give a big shout out to, I had an opportunity to go out with the maintenance crew up in Las Colinas. I don't tell the CFO, but I was in a ditch one day trying to dig out the ditch. No, I can't. I cannot confirm or deny whether I had a jackhammer.
We don't want you
I can't confirm or deny. But I want to. I'm not but I do want to say that our staff, particularly our crew, whether it's meters, whether it's maintenance, whether it's production, is doing, excellent work in a very, challenging circumstances, whether they're braving the challenges of being in an urban environment, dodging cars, dodging dogs, big dogs, mean dogs, too, rattlesnakes, and people don't know this district goes all the way up in the mountains. I had the pleasure of going all the way to Zone 8, up in the mountains, and seeing all of the aspects of this district. And, you know, and guess what? Whether it is in the middle of the night and it's freezing cold, or whether it is 12 p.m. in the middle of the day and it's 115, our folks are working and working their tails off. So, and many people don't see and don't know what our employees are doing in the places that they're working in. But I want to salute them for their hard work, their skill and level of professionalism in doing their job. And I just really appreciate them being patient and taking me along and allowing me to hold a shovel next to them, or a pen in the pad in some cases, or at least laughing at me trying to hold a wrench. With that being said, I just want to also lead this meeting in honor to a classmate of mine, Mr. Chadwick Boseman. Some of you all may know him. He was in Black Panther. He served as King T'Challa. For my little kids, they definitely cried this week. I had to go out and get them some Black Panther blankets. But he was a classmate of mine at Howard University. And so I also want to dedicate this meeting to his honor as well, because it had a tremendous impact on people all over this country. With that being said, Mike or Kyle, do you guys have anything else to say? Nope. All right, Mr.
Somebody wants to speak.
Somebody, yeah. And then, Mr. General Counsel, anything to report out of closed session?
Yes, Mr. President, we have one issue to report out of closed session. The board voted, after receiving a outside legal opinion, the board voted 4 in favor and 1 abstention to grant a legal defense to Director Kyle Crowther and Director Michael Taylor in the Key Tem action. The 4 board members that voted in favor were President Channing Hawkins, Director Greg Young, Director Mike Taylor, Director Kyle Crowther, and the abstention was Director Dr. Clifford Young. That concludes my report.
All right, thank you. With that being said, meeting adjourned.
All right. Oh, Lord.